Scene 4. Kunti reveals the secret. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. When Krishna was finished speaking, Gandhari simply remained silent. Dhritarashtra then asked Yudhishthira, where did the fallen warriors all go after dying in the battle? Yes, my lord, by the grace of Lomasha Rishi, I have been granted the vision to see where those heroes have gone. All of them have attained the celestial abodes of the gods. Even those who fell while fleeing or turning their faces from the fight have gone upwards to regions of enduring pleasure. Indeed, having died in Krishna's presence, the dead warriors have doubtlessly all reached auspicious destinations. Comforted by Yudhishthira's assurance, Dhritarashtra gave orders that the funeral rites be performed for his sons and their followers. Thousands of Brahmanas chanted hymns from the Sama and Rig Vedas, while funeral pyres blazed all along the riverbank. The Kurus entered the river and stood waist-deep to offer oblations of sacred water to their departed relatives. The cries of women filled the air, drowning out the Brahmanas' mantras. As the Pandavas were about to enter the river to make their funeral offerings, Kunti came to them and quietly spoke. O heroes, please offer an oblation for Karna, that effulgent fighter, the ornament of battle. Whoever delighted in fight was the son of Surya and my own firstborn child. Yes, he was your eldest brother. The 5 brothers were shocked. Yudhishthira and Arjuna glanced at each other, for they had long suspected that Karna was of some kind of divine origin. It was hardly possible that such a great warrior could have sprung up from a Shudra. But the son of their own mother? How had they never discovered it? And why had Kunti not told them? Yudhishthira cried out loud. It was certain that Kunti, as always, had spoken the truth. So Yudhishthira replied in surprise. O noble lady, were you the mother of that Karna who was like a sea, having arrows for its billows, mighty arms for its sharks, and the sounds of his bowstring as its roar? Were you the same mother of that one who swore constant enmity with Arjuna, and whom no one but Arjuna could resist? Tell us, how did you conceal this fact, like a man hiding a fire within the folds of his clothing? Tell us how he became your son, and why you hid this from us. Alas, I am undone with even a greater grief upon hearing this news than I was upon hearing the death of Abhimanyu. And then again Yudhishthira cried out. Along with all the other respectable personalities slain in the war, Yudhishthira had also now brought about the death of his eldest brother. Had he known of Karna's identity, then the war could have been averted. Duryodhana would not have even considered fighting without Karna. United with Karna, the Pandavas would have been invincible. Kunti replied, trembling. Alas, dear son, long I have kept this secret, unable to speak it to anyone, simply out of fear. Yes, while still a maiden, I brought forth that mighty warrior. Sometimes I thought of telling you, but something always made me hesitate. And now, seeing that Karna has died along with his sons, and has no one to offer his last rites, why, I could not conceal the truth any longer. Kunti's mind now returned to that fateful day when Suryadev had entered her chamber. She looked at the Ganga flowing gently now, just as it had that day when she pushed the basket containing Karna into her waters. Kunti fell to the ground sobbing. Yudhishthira lifted her up, running his cool hand across Kunti's forehead. "Oh, mother, how much pain you must have suffered! Oh, Karna, where have you gone without greeting us as your younger brothers?" Yudhishthira turned, looking for Krishna, who was waist deep in the river, making offerings to the departed souls. Surely it was for Krishna's own inscrutable reasons that Krishna had not told the Pandavas the truth about Karna. But Kunti should have trusted them. She could have revealed Karna's identity long ago, and thus saved so much bloodshed. Now, in a trembling voice, his mind clouded with grief, Yudhishthira spoke. "O mother, tell me how Karna took birth and why he was cast away. Surely the gods must have executed some plan through you, O gentle lady." Kunti then began to tell her sons the whole story. In amazement they listened. It was a strange destiny indeed that had caused Karna, the eldest of the Pandavas, and the son of the most powerful sun god himself, to be separated at birth from his heritage and cast in the role of an enemy to his own brothers. The Pandavas all looked at Krishna, who was just now coming out of the water. With drops running down his transcendental body, Krishna shone in the bright afternoon sunshine. As he came over to Kunti and the Pandavas, Yudhishthira told Krishna what Kunti had just said. Folding his palms, Yudhishthira then asked, "Why were we never informed, Keshava?" "Oh, Ajatashatru, it was out of my love for my aunt that I did not reveal her secret. But Karna knew the truth, and still he could not be swayed from his loyalty to Duryodhana, although he understood the consequences. So, along with your brothers, you should all now offer Karna his due rights." Kunti and her sons entered the Ganga and stood there for some time, silently making their offerings to Karna and all their other dead relatives. When they were finished, Yudhishthira made arrangements for them to stay on the riverbank for the coming month. In accordance with scriptural injunctions, Yudhishthira ordered that everyone live there for 30 days to make daily offerings for the dead. As evening fell, the Pandavas sat with Krishna. They were surrounded by numerous rishis, headed by Narada Muni. Yudhishthira questioned Narada about Karna. He wanted to know every detail of Karna's life, and Narada narrated the full story. Narada told him how Karna had been raised by Adhirata and Radha. Due to his powerful nature, Karna had sought the best training in martial arts. His enmity for Arjuna had been born when Drona refused to teach him, seeing Karna as the son of a mere chariot driver. Karna had then left Drona, resolved to return and humiliate Drona by defeating his best student, Arjuna. And so it was at that time that Karna had gone to Parashuram and was taught by him, only to be later cursed for his deceit. And after hearing about Karna, including Karna's promise to Kunti not to kill any of his brothers except for Arjuna, Yudhishthira cried. He then turned to Kunti and said, "Oh, if Karna had only come to me as a brother, surely I would have given him the entire earth and thus averted this calamity. Becoming the leader of the Pandavas, Karna would have shone in this world like Indra shines in the heavens." Kunti pulled her white sari over her head. Tears ran freely from her eyes as she replied, "O my child, O great hero, you should not think in this way. I tried my best to convince Karna of what was in his best interests, but he simply would not listen to me. Why, even his own father, the mighty Suryadev himself, came to Karna in a dream, trying to persuade him, but without success. Neither Surya nor myself could sway your brother from his enmity against you Pandavas." Seeing Karna firmly under the influence of destiny and bent upon doing you harm, I gave up my attempt to change his mind and left him. It would only have made matters worse if I had then informed you of Karna's real identity. Yudhishthira covered his face with his hands. "Oh, mother, I do not blame you for your silence. Surely you must have been moved by supreme destiny. Still, I feel you should have confided in me. Therefore I say that from this day on, no woman shall be able to hold a secret." Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Scene 5. Narada tries to console Yudhishthira. Seeing him mournful, Narada spoke. "O Dharmaraj, O king, do not give way to sorrow. Righteously you have acquired this earth by the strength of your arms. Ever abiding by your duties, you have escaped with life from this battle, and now you stand as the undisputed ruler of the entire world. Why do you not rejoice? I do hope everything is well with you. Rise up now, take your rightful position, give joy to your friends, and lead this world to the path of virtue." But Yudhishthira remained downcast. The rishi's words did not cheer him. His mother's revelation about Karna had only compounded Yudhishthira's remorse. Certainly the slain warriors had reached the higher regions, but what about their widows and orphans who numbered in the millions? Yudhishthira cared for the people like a loving father. The world was now full of grief-stricken women and children who had no protectors. Soberly he replied, "O best of sages, I have indeed conquered this world by relying upon Krishna, by the favor of the Brahmanas, and by the might of Bhima and Arjuna. Still, a heavy sorrow preys on my mind, for I have killed all my kinsmen only because I wanted the kingdom. Having caused the death of the darling son of Subhadra, and also Draupadi's 5 sons, my victory seems little better than defeat, O Holy One. Those gentle ladies' grief cuts through my heart. Thanks to me, there are now so many women in the very same state. How can I possibly enjoy this earth?" Now Yudhishthira vented his anguish. Praising forgiveness and self-control, he censured the life of a Kshatriya, which was always violent and angry. Although Yudhishthira had scrupulously executed his duties, his nature was more like that of a Brahmana rather than that of a warrior. Before his brothers and before Krishna, Yudhishthira stated his intentions to spend the rest of his life in penance. "We have waged war like dogs fighting for a piece of meat. Now we no longer desire that meat. I will throw it aside. The whole endeavor was useless. We have not gained our object, and our enemies have not gained theirs. The evil Kauravas, indulged by the foolish king Dhritarashtra, have met with destruction, and we are left only with the burnt remnants. Now I will go to the forest, abandoning my attachment for this world, and with my mind fixed upon renunciation, I will attain to that goal ever sought by ascetics and sages. Yes, let Bhima become king, or perhaps you, Arjuna, with Krishna as your dear friend, you may rule this earth. But as for me, I no longer wish to be king." Then Yudhishthira fell silent. Arjuna looked at Krishna and then back at Yudhishthira. Arjuna licked the corners of his lips and frowned. Night had fallen, and the flames of the sacred fire by which they were sitting cast an eerie orange glow on Arjuna's handsome face, which flushed as he replied, "O Lord, O King, O brother, how have you spoken such words? Having conquered your enemies, you are now the world's rightful emperor. You are Kshatriya. It is your duty to protect the people. Poverty befits rishis, not kings. Kings must perform sacrifices and then distribute wealth to those in need. Indeed, by using wealth properly, pious kings increase their virtue and fame. The world stands in need of such a great leader. It is your religious obligation to fulfill that role. Following in the footsteps of the illustrious Dilipa, Nahusha, Ambarisha, and so many other great monarchs in our line, you should become king of this earth. How could anyone like you accept any other path?" But Yudhishthira remained silent. He was still not convinced. Finally, he replied, "I cannot accept your praise of wealth and worldly attachment. Focus your mind upon your inner self, and then you will understand what I am saying. My only desire is to give up materialistic life and take to the path trodden by mendicants. This world is but an illusion, and only foolish men desire it. From now on, I will take only what is absolutely necessary to survive. I will pass my time in austerity and meditation. Why, even as I contemplate such a life, already I feel happiness born of detachment. Let me go to the forest and aim for the eternal abode of the Supreme Spirit, Brahman. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Scene 6. The brothers try to console Yudhishthira. Then Bhima spoke, and like Arjuna, he was frustrated by Yudhishthira's reluctance to rule after endeavoring so hard to regain the kingdom. Bhima's voice rang out into the still of the night. Surely, O king, your understanding of truth and virtue in this case is like one who foolishly recites the Vedas but knows nothing of their meaning. Censuring the duties of kings, you wish to lead an idle life. Had we known that this was your real intention, we would not have fought. But we did fight. So now if you abandon your duty, then killing Dhritarashtra's sons was a senseless act. And yet the wise have said that killing one's enemies and leading a righteous government is our proper course. Kshatriyas possess forgiveness and self-control, and kings exercise those qualities by doing their own duties and not the duties of others. Your renunciation now is like one who, having slain many foes, finally dies by his own sword, or like a person who has climbed up a tree to get the honey but falls before even tasting it, or like a starving man who finally obtains food and then refuses to eat it. Bhima continued, citing many similes denouncing Yudhishthira's planned renunciation. He pointed out that the duties of a king were obtained by the Supreme Lord himself and were therefore not reproachable. Renunciation was only approved for kings when they became old or defeated. As long as Yudhishthira had strength and ability, such a virtuous Kshatriya should exert himself to rule and protect the people. Bhima thus concluded. So if, O king, one could attain perfection simply by renunciation, then mountains and trees would be perfected beings. They all lead lives of abstention. They do not harm anyone, and they practice celibacy. No, real renunciation means performing one's duty just as the Supreme Lord desires. The world moves with all beings acting according to their God-given natures. One who abstains from action can never achieve success. Still, Yudhishthira would not break his silence. Then Arjuna spoke. O king, there is an ancient history mentioned in the Vedas regarding the relative merits of renunciation versus action. Listen as I repeat it now. Once upon a time, some young brahmanas who had gone to the forest after having abandoned their duties resolved to live a renounced life. Indradev then came to them in the form of a bird, asking what they were doing. And when they told him, Indra, in the form of the bird, replied, "This course of action is not approved by Scripture. The Vedas define the Brahmana's duty. A man who gives up his duty is condemned and defeated, while on the other hand, one who performs his duty only because it ought to be done, and who lives on the remnants of sacrifice after he has made offerings to the Supreme and to his kinsmen, ancestors, gods, and guests, that man attains to goals which are normally difficult to achieve. Indeed, there is nothing more difficult than the life of a dutiful householder, which in the end leads to genuine detachment from all worldliness. This is the surest path of righteousness and peace." Arjuna then explained how the Brahmanas gave up their lives of premature renunciation and returned to their duties and then achieved success. Still, Yudhishthira said nothing. Then Nakula also tried to encourage his elder brother to accept his duty of kingship. Citing Vedic injunctions, Nakula described the sacrifices meant for Kshatriyas. Kings were enjoined to renounce their wealth by distributing it in charity to Brahmanas and the people in general at great sacrifices. Leaving everything behind and going to the forest was simply not in accord with Vedic principles. The king must perform sacrifices for the good of the people and act as their protector. If a king gave up such duties in the name of renunciation, it would simply result in disaster for the king himself and his subjects. No, real renunciation was something internal, not external. One who performed his duty in a mood of detachment was the true renunciant, and not the man who gave up his duty. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Anasrita Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti Yaha Sa Sannyasi Cha Yogi Cha Na Niragnirna Cha Kriyaha. Then Sahadev spoke, concurring with his brothers, as Yudhishthira sat there in silence amid the rishis, tending their sacrificial fire. O king, it is difficult to renounce material attachments simply by stopping work. Let it be that our enemies have the merit which goes to one who renounces work, but whose mind still dwells and covets material things, while, on the other hand, may our friends have the merit earned by one who rules the world, having shaken off all internal attachments. The word mama, mine, is actually death, while its opposite, nama, is eternal Brahman. It is death and Brahman only which impel all men to action. The wise man, however, free from false conception of the self, and realizing oneself to be eternal spirit, works without being attached to the results. Thus, one's work is actually spiritual, and one attains Brahman. But the man who still desires the fruits of his actions, even if he lives in the forest, still lives within the jaws of death. In truth, O king, even inaction is considered action if one desires the result. Therefore, do your duty in a detached mood and earn everlasting virtue. However, even after all of his brothers had spoken, Yudhishthira still said nothing. He already knew what they were trying to say, but he could not deny the truth of it either. Still, his heart was not inclined towards ruling the world. He sat there, staring at the ground. The compassionate Pandava then thought of Bhishma Dev, still lying on the battlefield on his bed of arrows. He thought of Drona Acharya, whom they had ruthlessly killed. He thought of Karna, his very own brother, whom he had killed even before he knew Karna's true identity. And yes, Yudhishthira thought of Abhimanyu and Draupadi's 5 sons, and also their young wives, all grieving for their husbands. Only if Yudhishthira had given up his desire for half of the kingdom, none of them would have died. After all, Duryodhana, for all of his faults, was an efficient administrator. So, what need was there to destroy so many lives? Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adigaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana Om Tat Sat